Okay, Lee, that is enough of the battery making porn. This is what we came up with, guys. This is the replacement battery for the board. It's a 12S 5P Samsung 30Q pack, which you might have got from the cinematics just then. And yeah, this is much better quality than the one that came out. Now, one of the things I've done is I have left the two wires just terminated like this. I've actually snipped them for length for going to each of the motor controllers. Now, we're going to have to get the power across because we've got positive at one end of the pack, and at this end of the pack here we have the negative wire. And obviously we need to send a positive to the negative and a negative over to the positive. Now, I've had a quick look inside the enclosure and it's pretty tight, so I don't know if I'm going to end up having to run the wiring over the top. We also have some CAN bus wiring to go between the two motor controllers. I'll tell you what, let's get the board and it'll be a lot easier to explain. Okay guys, this is how the board currently looks. Now, I have skipped forward slightly. I've installed the trucks on the board with the Elofty drives. It's not much, and I've just put these blue anodized washers on here just to give it a bit of extra bling. These blue washers are the same color as the wheels. If we flip it over, we can see the deck itself. Now, this battery pack is going to go actually this way in here, and there ain't a lot of room sort of down here. There might be enough to run the wiring. I don't know, I need to get the wire and have a look. That's going to be one of the things we do today. But as you can see, there's just enough space for the motor controllers at either end. Now, these are Foxbox Unities, well-proven motor controller. Some people don't like using them because they don't like JSON. I don't care. It's the hardware that's going in this board. It's a well-proven motor controller, and it'll fit really nicely in here because it's so small. So yeah, they're going to go either side here, and the BMS is going to have to go probably, the wiring's probably going to go, it's probably going to go something like that and on top of the other motor controller. So as we said, guys, there isn't a lot of room in here actually, and there's only just enough room with this battery, and I did measure it before I made it, of course. There's really only enough room for the motor controllers to go in here. If I just show you what it's going to look like. There we go. So two motor controllers, big battery, and the BMS will go on top of this motor controller here. And yeah, really, we're on the home straight now, guys. What we've got to do is we've got to solder on the adapters for the motor controllers. In fact, let me just get one of those. So these things are what comes with the E-Lofty drives. Honestly, the phase wires, guys, look at how skinny the phase wires are. I don't think these drives are going to be able to handle a lot of current. I don't think they're even sort of meant to from the manufacturer. But we'll have a look. But yes, if I just move this. But yes, essentially what we need to do is these horrible wires, really stiff, horrible wires, will connect into here. In fact, let's connect one of these in. Yeah, and it's just going to basically come straight into the enclosure here, and we need to connect it up to the Unity here. Now, as you can see, we could, if we wanted to, plug the E-Lofty, if it was the same size connector, straight into the Unity, but we won't be doing that. We'll be desoldering these phase wires from the Unity, and we'll be stripping this material back, snipping these off, and we'll be soldering these adapters straight on to the Unity. The other issue we have is the phase wires are the smaller JST connectors. I can't even remember what these ones are called, but they won't interface directly into the Unity, so we need to get some adapters for that. So I guess the next job is to strip these Unities down, remove the phase wires, and solder on our new adapters. Right, okay guys, hopefully you can see what's going on here. We have the first Unity, the one that's at the back, coincidentally. I've wired it up to the E-Lofty motor wires, and yeah, it's okay. There's quite a bit of room in here, so it's not too cramped, but I'm imagining it's going to sort of be like this. Now you can see, if I move the camera, so you can see back here, these are the connections. These aren't very good. I don't know how far down maybe all the way to the line, but yeah, those wires are now connected direct to the Unity. They're going to go like that. The two sensor wires are going to go to some adapters, and I need to see if Ricardo's got the adapters. So they're going to go like that, and they're going to eventually end up in here. This is going to be Velcroed down to the deck. I've also ran the wires that's going to connect the two halves together. So I've ran a negative from one end to the other and a positive from one end to the other. You can see they're sort of popping out at both ends of the battery at the moment. And yeah, they actually fit quite nicely down the side of the battery. So I'm pretty happy with this. All I've got to do now is sort the Unity out at this end with the motor wires, again, exactly the same as this end, put some XT60s on the battery and get everything Velcroed down. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to put some extra fish paper on the inside of this enclosure. I think I'm going to do that. I hope I can do it to stop to make it even less likely that something's going to short. I'd rather everything just be insulated on the inside as well. So we're hopefully going to do that. Get some Velcro, get everything stuck down. So then, yeah, the only thing we have to do is make the can loom to connect them together. And pretty much the electronics are done. Obviously, I've got to attach the BMS still. I've got to put the power switch on, all of that stuff. But pretty soon we'll be able to go through motor detection at least. So yeah, there is that. And then once that's done, it's basically making a spacer for the enclosure, which allows for our wires to come through. And yeah, running some other bits and bobs. And yeah, we're pretty much there, guys. So yeah, I'm going to crack on, get the other Unity sorted, get the XT60s on this battery, and yeah, we're good to go. And with that, guys, all of the electronics are in the board. Well, most of them anyway. We've got the power switch to do, we've got the receiver to do, and we've got the CAN cable to do next. So let's do that and let's crack on. And whilst we're here, I want to tell you about how you connect these motor controls up to get the 4-wheel drive working from one on or off power switch, which is only connected to one Unity. They turn each other on over CAN, and it's a really clever way of doing it, actually. It's a frig of the push to start firmware that's in these controllers. Jeffrey Friesen wrote this as like an extra thing. If you connect them via CAN, you can, when one Unity turns on, it tells the other one that it's basically rolling to start. I think that's how it works anyway, and it turns the other one on. To do that, you have to make a special CAN cable. You can't just connect the CAN high and CAN low to each other. You must also connect the positives together, and you must put a resistor in that positive line, and it has to be a 10 ohm 1 watt resistor. So we're going to make that CAN cable with the 10 ohm 1 watt resistor on the power. You mustn't connect a negative because we have to avoid ground loops, because the motor controls are already connected through ground anyway through the battery, and then if you connect them again with another ground, you get a ground loop. So we want to avoid that. We want to connect the positive, the CAN highs, the CAN lows, and that is it. So we're going to do that. We're going to wire the receiver in, we're going to put the BMS on, and then we're going to go through motor detection, see if this all fires up okay, and if it does, then we can start working on the enclosure. Super exciting. Well, that was a bit easier to remove with the Velcro now. It's the same principle as earlier, and I know I criticised the dual tape, but as you can see, that was easy to remove. So we're going to be running the CAN wires underneath the battery, I've decided, along here and up. So I've got myself an old CAN cable here, which I'm going to snip in half. It just means that I have to do less of these crimps, these JST crimps, which are just horrible. I hate doing them. So yeah, I'm going to be connected into the CAN here, running along underneath the battery and connected into the CAN there. So happy days, let's do that. Okay, so I have connected the two motor controllers up via CAN with this long cable. It's going to go underneath the battery. I'm going to put the battery back on top of it now, and we shall never need to go underneath it again. I've also ran some fish paper between the carbon fibre and the cables just in case. And one thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to run fish paper along this top edge where the battery sits flat up against. This end is where the cables go. that end is where the battery sits flat against. So I'm going to put some fish paper along there as well, get the battery back on, and well, I just remembered we can't actually go through motor detection because I don't have the sensor adapter cables yet. They're on the way, but they're not here yet.